morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you may be watching from. You still with me, Samkem Mhlongo, on this year's Money Smart Week, where we are talking all things personal finance, especially in a pandemic world. Now, I'm so excited for this segment because we get to hear what you have been asking about your personal finances on online platforms and physical platforms when you've been engaging with financial professionals. And for that, I am joined by Sis Portia Malachi, who is founder and CEO of PM Skills House. Sis Portia, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
So lovely to see you. And of course, I'm also joined by Sis Sandra Mkonwana, who is the founder of Isitebe Wellness. Sis Sandra, you're looking lovely.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Ladies, you, over the past year, have had the task of dealing with physical queries, digital queries, with people coming with their personal finance problems. And the biggest one, of course, has been the loss of income, or even people who are still lucky enough to have jobs having reduced income. So, Sis Portia, I'm going to start with you. With regards to people that have reduced incomes or have been retrenched or haven't even managed to find a job, please talk to us a little bit more around some of the debt repayment strategies and debt management strategies that have worked over the past year. And you're the best person to talk to us about that, because hundreds of people have been helped by Sis Portia over the past year.
Yes, I think the most important thing was about knowing and understanding that credit insurance, credit life insurance, when we're buying like, home loans, vehicle finance, furniture accounts as well, to understand the terms of and conditions, like when we get retrenched, what happens then, and also the importance of immediately going and making arrangements so that you can be able to talk to your credit provider and be able to make arrangements. And another thing was like payment holidays when it comes to our insurance and stuff like that. Instead of losing the benefits that we've been paying over the years, then it was important to immediately contact our insurance companies and talk to them about our current situation. Obviously, we'll need proof that we have been retrenched or we have taken a salary cut, so that they can be able to assist us in terms of getting those payment holidays in place. And also another thing was a debt relief programs, where most of the financial services we're offering to entrepreneurs, to consumers as well. So it was important to speak to our banks and our bank managers to see what help is available there.
And Sis Portia, you've touched on the three main methods and reliefs that were available. And perhaps you can unpack a little bit further in terms of credit insurance. What is the process in claiming, and how do I even know, where do I even begin to find out if I have credit insurance?
I think the important thing is to understand your statement that we receive from our creditors every month. You open it and can see how much you're contributing to your credit life insurance. And also, it's very important to make sure that our installments are up to date, so that it's easier than when the time comes, you can be able to apply and be able to qualify for. It doesn't cover for the long time, depending on how much you have available. Sometimes can cover your premiums from 6 maybe to 12 months as well. Maybe sometimes it covers when from unemployment or even disability. So it's very important to talk to our credit providers and ask them, when does it cover? When can I claim and stuff like that, and to get more information when we get credit. Yeah.
So Sandra, did you see a lot of people come and talk to you about debt relief help, and perhaps you can expand for us how the payment holiday works, because I'm sure a number of people you would have advised to investigate if they should go the payment holiday route.
Yeah, and the other thing that we saw, and I'm sure Portia also saw the same, is that people that even had money, didn't even have any reductions in salary, actually went for it. And the scariest for me, or the biggest concern, was that do people understand the terms and conditions? So here you are with a reduced salary and you're taking this payment holiday. Do you understand the terms and conditions?
That it's a loan.
That it is a loan. There's other things, that the servicing fee are still charged. Because it was a surprise after that, then people were like, oh, I didn't know that this would be happening. So understanding, like what Portia was saying in terms of your credit insurance, the terms and conditions, I think from now on, one of the things that we learned lessons, understand the terms and conditions. Before you enter into any form of contract, make sure that you understand the terms and conditions. Because here you are, you have a full salary, you're taking this payment holiday, it's putting you in a worse of situation. But for those people that were in dire situations, it became handy, it was very helpful. And it also gets to say, even if the payment holiday initiative is over, if you are still because we're still having economic issues. People
course.
still have financial issues. If you find yourself in that situation, go to the service provider, get to understand what arrangement you can make, because a lot of people then avoid the private numbers, and we run away from all of these people. But it has died, especially when you're looking at your credit report. Then people will be like, I didn't pay if I knew or what. Approach those people. The National Credit Act was done for us to protect us as consumers. Exactly. So go and talk to these people. They are open to having and understanding what your situation is, and they will tailor make a solution for you in your particular situation.
You know, Sis Sandra, I hear you, and I agree with you. Our credit profiling, our credit scores, our credit history, very important. But with regards to such permanent and irreversible impacts of COVID on our lives, like the loss of life, the loss of parents, siblings, spouses, it becomes slightly less important. I guess what I'm trying to say is, yes, it is important, but I'd like us to talk about a more severe type of negative impact on our finances, being the loss of life, especially for the surviving spouses or surviving beneficiaries. Now, I know when we were chatting before the show, you told me about a case of a very difficult situation where this individual had a surprise beneficiary come claim against their late husband's pension fund. I'd like us to talk a little bit more about that, because for me, I'd be way more worried about that than my credit report, which I can remedy in sort of 6 to 12 months' time.
Which you have control over.
Ooh, yes.
And it's a reality. Most of us, when we get married, you'd find that there's other people or kids or dependents, let me put it that way, dependents that we might not even know about. And I think that's what this period has highlighted. A lot of us administratively, in terms of the things that we leave behind, in terms of the estate, all of those admin issues that we always say, no, I'm too busy to do, I'm too busy to take care of. This period has highlighted that. People pass on. They were divorced 5 years ago, but the ex-husband is still a beneficiary on one of the policies.
Imagine.
On the pension funds, some of us, how often do we even actually update with HR all those beneficiary nomination lists?
Yes.
And it's such whenever there's a change, update those things. Whenever there's a change, update. And what we need to also remember, because you're saying the surprise beneficiaries, is because we're trying to protect everyone. Whoever is a financial dependent can have a claim on your pension fund or provident fund. All I need to do is to show that I was a financial dependent. Every month I got whatever allowance from your husband. And
so, as Makwapeni, if my late husband was supporting his mistress that I didn't know about, she can come and have a claim against his pension.
Whoever is a financial dependent, Samke. Even the kids, because a lot of the times we'd find that there's the issue of migrant workers. We're all familiar with that. There's a wife at home. There's a wife here in Joburg. Then when somebody passes on, they come through and say, I'm the, and then there's another one. So, and they can both prove financial dependency. So those are the things that I think we need to start opening up. Because the more there's fights around these issues, the more there's people disagreeing, then the longer it takes. But especially for the kids, for the minor kids that still need to attend school, it's terrible. Everything is now delayed. There's no monies because now this issue has come up. So updating your beneficiary lists on all the policies.
Having a will.
Having a will. And you know, you had indicated that people, when you talk about wills, go, they just roll their eyes. But it's a reality. People don't have wills. People don't update their beneficiaries. People don't even have their policy schedules, Samke. It's that policy that you took 10 years ago when you started working. When was the last time that you actually checked on it? You pass on, there's millions, there's money sitting in unclaimed funds because no one knows that you had a policy. Therefore, no one will come.
Because we don't keep a life file that has a list of all our assets, all our liabilities, because they're if they know I have this money, please stop that. It's so archaic. You know, as we wrap up, I'm looking at the time now, as we wrap up and come to the end of our conversation, I'd like to hear from you, Sis Portia, especially around, debt management. Let's talk about recovery. If yes, I found myself in a position where I was defaulting on some debit orders, I've exhausted my credit insurance, or perhaps I'm even now at the stage of rebuilding. managed to find a new job, or I've managed to find a side hustle that allows me to create extra income. How do I go about rebuilding my credit profile? You know, what are some of the tips you can give me to actually get me back on track to being a healthy credit consumer?
I think the most important part it will be start having a budget now and be aware of your finances, and also making sure that now you pay your bills on time. Also, do a checklist of everything of your payment, your expenses, so you know exactly how much you have to pay every month, and be consistent as well. Because the most important part is now when you're recovering, you have to be consistent, and also put financial goals in place as well. Have short-term goals, long-term goals, and medium-term goals, so that you can be able to maintain what you want to achieve in the long run as well, and be disciplined. And it will take sacrifice, because when it comes to recovering in terms of debt and credit, it's not easy. I mean, many people lost their cars, other people are losing their homes and stuff like that. It's painful. Therefore, we had hard lessons to learn. Now it's time to reflect and to build, but also always being mindful of life is more important, but also budgeting with the family now and sitting together as a family and agreeing on the less important things, and just focusing on the needs, things that we need to survive for now until we recover fully.
I like that, and also Sandra is a big proponent of, you know, budgeting as a family and planning your finances as a family, and I think estate planning is quite important to do as a family. Perhaps as we come to the end of the conversation, how do you go about asking your spouse or your partner to say, can we please sit down and plan for effectively our death?
Yeah, and it's critical. It's as if, you know, talking about death is gonna die tomorrow or something. It's a given. It's we all know that we're going. It's a guarantee. It's one of the things those things that are gonna happen. And one of the things that I love about Mind My Money, which is the financial literacy program sponsored by Liberty, is that you can access a financial advisor. Because a lot of the times when you talk to someone, when was the last time you spoke to a financial advisor? Oh, no, I don't make enough money. It's not about the money, the amount of money that you're making, but being able, when Portia says the financial goals, how are you gonna map that out? You might need an assistance of a financial advisor who's gonna sit down with you and say, these are the things that you need to plan. To ensure that all the things, when you pass on, run smoothly, you're gonna need a financial advisor. Estate planning is one of the most important and neglected areas. So this is an opportunity again to say, reach out to a financial advisor. Take the time and say, what are we wanting to achieve as a family, as a unit? If I'm married with my spouse, what is it that I want to leave as a legacy as well for my kids? And ensuring that they actually get, we all know those horror stories, you left money for whoever and the money was, you know, disappears. Exactly. So now is the time to actually properly plan. Use a financial advisor, reach out to a financial advisor, and see how you can actually, going forward as we're building, how can we build better?
If you take away one thing from this conversation, just one, let it be that you need to plan for your estate, for your deceased estate. So just draft a will, that's all. There's National Wills Week in September where it's free of charge. It's very affordable if you go via your banks even or via a lawyer, but at least that one thing for us, at least draft a will. Sis Sandra, Sis Portia, it's been an absolute pleasure chatting to you today. Thank you very much for joining me today, and thank you very much for what you're doing for the country in terms of financial education. We really, really appreciate it, and we really, really need it.
Thank you.
From me, Samgam Mhlongo, thank you for watching. Thank you for joining us, and I wish you all the best for the year ahead. For now, it's goodbye and God bless.